Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us for the brainstorming session for National Family Engagement Month. We have a few ideas to kind of get the conversation started, but for those of you who've been with FCPS for years, you know that a few years ago we started celebrating National Family Engagement Month, and every year we try to add on a little bit more excitement. This does not mean you have to revamp all your plans for November. Hopefully, by the end of this discussion, you'll have some ideas of what what National Family Engagement Month means, what it might look like at your school, and maybe some things that you can kind of fine tune to support your families through this month. So, thanks for joining us. I believe I am recording. Yes. Okay. Great. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Um, so to begin with, it seems like an obvious place to start is just to really define what do we mean, especially in our office in family and school partnerships, what do we mean by family engagement? Really, family engagement is that shared responsibility between the school and families, making sure that there aren't major gaps in communication and barriers to learning. So having families work with schools and schools be a welcoming and safe place for families to communicate as well. The second part is that engagement is cradle to career. It's never too early nor too late for families to be engaged in their students' learning. So we certainly want families to understand that they are their first and most important influence for their students, right? And then it is across contexts. Anytime kids are learning, whether it's in a classroom, on the basketball court, at the bus stop, in civic organizations, wherever kids are learning, we want families to feel like they should be engaged with that. They should know what they're learning and where they're learning it from. That's just a very basic, very rudimentary part of engaging with students. So, with that premise in mind, National Family Engagement Month is a month that celebrates all the engagements that families have with students. And it's not like we only want them to engage in November, but we certainly want to point out throughout the month of November what a great job they're doing engaging with their students and maybe help provide more opportunities for them to engage with their students or to point out how they're already doing, right? Um, the month emphasizes a collaboration between families, schools, and communities, which is what we do all the time, and supports children's learning and well-being through various activities and initiatives. Your schools probably already have some ideas of what they might be doing for Veterans Day, for example. Things that they might be doing around Thanksgiving, for example. All of these things are family engagement, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But we really want to celebrate families as their child's first teachers, their advocates, and foster that strong home school partnership that children need to thrive. All right. Within the month of Family Engagement Month, there is one day that's called National Parental Involvement Day. So in FCPS, we don't really talk about parental involvement because you can be involved and not necessarily engaged, but the national day is National Parent Involvement Day, which is on let's see, the third Thursday of November. So this year it falls on November 20th. Okay. You don't have to do anything particularly special. This is for your information. We're not trying to task you with more things to do in your work, but it's more about bringing a little bit more focus and a little bit more attention to National Family Engagement Month. So, what does engagement look like in your schools? It can be in school, it can be outside of school, it can be any place that families are engaging with their students. Um, and so, yeah, it looks like a lot of different things, right? So, participating in a school organization, reading together, screen-free activities. And why screen-free activities? Anybody want to chime in and tell us why screen-free activities might be so important?
Hi.
Yeah, hi, Esmeralda. Go ahead.
Sorry. So I feel like kids are always on their tablets, right? So and parents too, probably to, disassociate from what's going on in the world. But, it's important to like have that open communication, especially during dinner time, just
Sure.
to focus on conversation.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it is 2025. Our kids are on computers for a good part of the day. What doesn't matter what grade they're in, even the elementary school kids have computers or laptops or screens that they're on as part of their learning. But when you're not looking at a screen, you have to look at each other. So that engagement is also really nice to have screen-free time. Um, Career exploration conversation. So I know that it feels sometimes like that engagement really happens with like the younger kids, but talking to some of our older kids, our middle and high school kids, is also important. Maybe some conversations about what do they think they want to do. So those conversations is also part of engagement. Um, when I was looking at the lists of suggested things, I saw sending a note in their lunchbox. I don't know if any of you have tried this with your kiddos, but my daughter just acts like she's just so honored if when I put a note in her lunchbox. I don't pack her lunch, but every once in a while I see it packed in the fridge, and so I'll just put a note in there and say have a great day, or it just makes such a difference. So even those small things, parent teacher student conferences. In some schools, they are starting to implement having students in the parent teacher conferences, and the students want to be involved. That is part of engagement as well. Homework assistance, if your kids are at an age where you can still help them with homework. I know that my kids surpassed me at about seventh grade with math. Um, Sharing stories about your day, that's engagement just in as much as, having conversations about, how your day was and how their day was. So, all of those things, plus a ton of other things, can be considered engagement. So, we're not asking any of you to reinvent the wheel or to create events that are going to provide engagement, but it's more about highlighting for families how they're already engaging and what they can continue to do to augment that engagement. So there, what can family liaisons do? You can certainly mention National Family Engagement Month to families. If you have any events, if you have any meetings, just kind of highlighting this for families. They might not even know that that's a thing that we're celebrating. But we really are celebrating families engaging with their students on multiple levels. This is also, if you haven't done this, I know we have a lot of new liaisons this year. If you haven't had a chance to introduce yourself, or it's been a while since you've kind of gotten out and reintroduced yourself to the school and to families, this is a good time to do that in a talking points newsletter, email, depending on what your school provides to families. Talk to your school-based supervisor about how you might be able to do that. On that note, if your school has not updated their website with family liaison information, this is a good time to make sure that that is updated as well. If your school website doesn't have your information or a family liaison um, tab, you can talk to somebody about that. I think it's generally the SBITs in the school who is curating your school's website. That would be a really important conversation to have as well. Um, like I mentioned, thank families for already engaging. There's so many ways that they engage, and as parents, they're constantly thinking, "Well, I need to do more. I need to do more." They're doing things already. So helping them recognize how much their engagement matters. Let's see.
In the vein of helping them recognize that their engagement matters is even reminding them that you see all the little ways that they engage that might not seem big enough to them, but every time they get their kid, to school on time or to the bus or again, uh, any small thing that might seem small, sometimes I think parents need to be reminded that they are doing something, because if they only ever hear the perspective of like, oh, here are all the things that I don't make it to or I can't make it to, it minimizes the importance of the things that they are doing to stay on top of and engaged in their children's learning in school and life.
Right. Right. People are busy, right? We don't want more things on our plate. We just want to be recognized for the things that we do have on our plate sometimes. So this is a perfect time to do that. This is also a great time to ask for families' input. If we want to foster those strong homeschool community relations, let's ask them what's working, what's not, what would you like more of, how can we support you better? So this is a really good time to just give them that voice as well. I know that in Region 3, we have several liaisons that are working together within pyramids to support one another and to support families together. No sense in duplicating efforts, right? If one school might be having an event that involves families, you can always reach out to other pyramid members to see if their families might like to join as well. So supporting one another is also going to be very useful. In the October action items in the Family Liaison Forum, there are a lot of really important and really great ways to engage families throughout not just the month of October and November, but just throughout the school year. So remember, National Family Engagement Month doesn't mean that we're only engaging families in November. This is a year-long process. We're just kind of highlighting it this month or for the month of November.
Sort of like Valentine's Day, where you love your loved one all year round. You just may be calling a little bit of special attention to those little ways. Those little ways are great.
There you go. No pressure for Valentine's Day either. And then I'm going to click on Project Appleseed. Let me see if this opens. Can you see Project Appleseed there? Okay. I just wanted to show you the website, and you will receive all of this in an email too with the links. We'll provide the recording and some other information and a link to Project Appleseed if you want to take a look. They have a lot of really great information about National Parent Involvement Day, which is the 20th, and about Family Engagement Month. So just a lot of really great and interesting information. I wanted to definitely show you what the website looks like because there is another Project Appleseed website that is about Tianja, remind us, it has to do with like guns. It's not it's not what we're looking for. It's another site. So this is what it looks like. It has an apple on the front, okay? So we'll share this this with you in a separate email. Let me go
And I
back.
think it is linked in our action items.
Awesome. Awesome. The correct link, right?
Yes.
Okay,
The
great.
apple.
All right. Yeah, so it's Project Appleseed, and there's lots of really great information about engaging with families there. So this is our National Family Engagement Month toolkit that we are going to be sending out in a separate email with the recording and with the links that we're referencing. This toolkit provides suggested activities and resources. This is a toolkit for liaisons and for school staff. For ideas that they might want to have throughout the month of November to highlight National Family Engagement Month. So it's 2 pages. It'll be sent to you shortly, and you will have a chance to kind of go through those things and click on some of the links that are provided there. This year, we are highlighting grateful for our families. So that is the big change this year. In the past, we've just kind of had the toolkit and the calendar, but this year we really want to highlight that we are grateful for our families. We know 30 years of research has shown us that all families can make a difference in their child's education if they are engaged, and engagement looks different for different types of families, different abilities, different skills. But we appreciate every contribution they can make as caregivers and families, right? So this will go out to you shortly, as well as the National Family Engagement Month calendar. Again, they're sticking with the theme of grateful for our families, and they've broken it down into, in week 1, they're concentrating on events that build belonging. Okay? In week 2, concentrating on events that involve communication and storytelling. Week 3 is learning together. And 4 is gratitude, service, and celebration. And that I think corresponds with like that Thanksgiving theme. This doesn't mean that you have to invent anything new. It's just kind of highlighting what those weeks are concentrating on. Um, this morning we had a meeting, and Sandra mentioned this morning at our fur meeting that this calendar can be editable, so you can edit in the things you already have planned. So maybe you have something planned at your school already, an informational night or a PTA meeting, whatever you have planned, or whatever activities and resources you already have can be put in there as well. So I'm going to reach out to Dr. Jackson to ensure that we can get an editable document, even if it's only for your use. This calendar is available right now in English, so we will share that with you, but it's coming in multiple languages. It's still at Language Services. So it will be coming in multiple languages so that you can share with families in other languages. All right. I wanted to share some pictures of just things that happen in schools, and we're going to have an opportunity for you guys to share what maybe you are planning in your school, maybe questions you have for things that you can do in your school. But this was somewhat one of our retired liaisons actually last year has been doing this for a couple of years, and she puts up the calendar at the entrance of the school when people are bringing their kiddos in or they visit throughout the day or picking them up. And it's the calendar is up there in English and in Spanish. And then each day she changes the question. So the question is here is it being united with the family, have a good communication to support each other and prosper together. So just every day, a little reminder of what they can do. And I believe that this board that they have, they put it the kiss and ride every day. So as parents are driving up, they can, they're waiting for their kiddos, they can see the question, like maybe the question is, or the statement is, ask your child how their class went today. Or ask them how school was, or what was their favorite thing about their day. Like any of those things are opportunities to engage, right? So this is just one idea, but we have, lots of creative minds out there, and we'd love to hear from you guys too. One more is while family engagement is not an event, it's still a great place to get started with creating those family and school partnerships. So even if it's not a high level or high impact engagement, it's still an opportunity to engage families and make them feel welcome. And that's a starting point for engaging with families.
I love that idea of the question of the day. I Those question starters are easy ways to have conversations within family, and I think the novelty of it being presented like from school sometimes it's a great way to also break the ice with kids. I At some point we had a school social worker suggest that we ask our kids what was something funny that happened to you today, or what was did anybody do anything kind for you today? And it was amazing in my household when we shifted what we were asking versus like, what did you do today, or what did you learn, the conversations that we would have. But my favorite was definitely, did anybody do anything kind, or did you do anything kind for someone? Because oftentimes, depending on the age of the child, we would get all sorts of stories, and like, oh, and I there was one where my son would regularly say, "Oh, I helped so and so get up from the swing." And finally, we're like, "Are you pushing him off the swing? How come every day your kind act is that you pick him up off the swing?" But it was cute. It really allowed us to delve into topics of conversation. So I love that idea.
Yeah, I love that. That's funny. This morning at the Mind in the Making class, our introduction was introduce yourself with a funny story that happened to you recently. So even asking questions about like what's something that happened, something funny that happened today, like that is a conversation starter, right? All right. So this is the portion where we want to hear from you. Questions, concerns, ideas. I know some of you have been with FCPS for years and have lots of really great ideas about how to kind of highlight National Family Engagement Month. So does anybody want to share? I know this is a very shy group.
I'll share something.
Yes, thank you.
Catherine Dunbar, I'm at Haycock. And I actually did not know Family Engagement Month was a thing, but my last newsletter that I sent out, I encouraged parents to come to the school and have lunch with their children because I also work in the cafeteria a couple days a week, and some of them didn't even know that they were allowed to do that. And so we've had quite an uptick, and I think it would be a great thing. I'm going to remind them again for Family Engagement Month to come back and have lunch, but the kids love that. They like showing off their parents, even the sixth graders like that. So that might be a good thing if you all have a newsletter to put that in there about eating lunch with your child. And elementary, I mean, I'm in elementary school, so.
Yeah, I don't know that the teenagers are going to love that idea, but yes, I love that. Yeah, that's terrific. And yeah, you're right. I think a lot of parents don't know; they're not sure what the boundaries are, right? So this is a really great time to remind them of that. Thank you, Marianne. You have your hand up.
Hi, I'm Marion. I'm at Bailey's Upper, but we partner really closely with Bailey's Primary. We're sister schools. And so what we're planning to do at Bailey's Upper is to do two parent workshops. One that's focused on our ESOL students who are also doing the K-12 curriculum. And then in the past, we've done how to understand your child's report card because quarter one will end and then they will actually have their report cards in their hands. But we're expanding that to also include something new we tried last year, which was not just going over the report card, but we have printed letters with all of the iReady scores on there for the first beginning of the year assessments. We're hoping we'll get the map results by then because that was new this year. And so we're going to have all the scores printed out. So when parents come, they won't just get the workshop, but they'll actually have their child's information in front of them. So when we're going over the data and like, what does this letter mean when you get it, they'll kind of have a better understanding. So those are the two workshops we're going to work on at our school specifically, but then along with primary, we're going to do for the first year family field trips. So we're taking them to the Air and Space Museum on November 15th. We're going to take two buses of families with their kids there. And then something both of our schools do is we do a big Thanksgiving parent luncheon. Parents are allowed to come throughout the month at each school, but it's like a big one where we invite and we have special volunteers coming in to help and rotations and everything. So it's a big deal. We decorate, we do a lot of decoration and things like that. So those are a couple things that we'll be doing for November.
That's awesome. There are a few other schools that I know that have done parent field trips, and the kids love that. I mean, the parents do too. That's a lot of fun. Again, elementary school kids love it. I didn't know that middle school and high school kids are inviting their parents on field trips, but they could.
They cannot lunch together because it's not allowed. Neither high school, not middle school.
I mean, there are some middle school and high schoolers that like to be around their parents, but all
But
right,
the
thank
school
you,
doesn't
Marian.
allow
Students are what
because
not.
the school doesn't allow them to come in because it's too many.
Mm.
And if the parents come too, like in Glasgow, you have 1,800 students. Imagine if 1,800 parents come.
There are some schools actually that will have like a invite parents to come for their Thanksgiving meal. And there are still some parents, especially I think probably in your pyramid, Marcy, or in your region, there are some middle schools that still have sixth graders. And I know for sure that there's a couple that still have the Thanksgiving luncheon and invite parents in. So
I have a
Yeah, we
suggestion
have
for that.
sixth grade too, but it's impossible to receive the parents.
But what if
For
you did it
four lunch with
you
454.
where you break it up to where maybe it's sixth grade with the first part of the alphabet comes on this day, the second half of the alphabet comes on that day. It might take a little bit of ingenuity to work it out, but that would avoid the bottleneck of having everybody come at the same time, and they would
Yeah,
still be able to come.
Very good point, Tanja, because that is what happened. I know for sure at Poe Middle School, they did break it up in by grades and by alphabet. So yeah, it does take some finessing, but it's possible. Anyone else have some ideas yeah, Eva.
That I do in November specifically, but I do that as a family engagement. It's I created a thank you card with the logo for the school that I use for everything. I use for to thank the parents when they come to the parent coffees. I use it to the organizations when they come to a specific event. Um, especially when the parents actually are part of any event that we do at our school, they love to either get a photo with their child or they like to get a thank you card. And specifically, I do the presentations. Like I actually attach the as a PDF because sometimes they don't have the Google. So I try to save it in the computer as a PDF and then I share that with the families. So for them to go over the presentation that they attended, I know that's getting a word of mouth because every month I'm getting a bigger crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. Also, I mean, the card is great, but something that you might consider doing is when you have those parent copies. I know many schools require, because of Title I restrictions, they have to have a sign-in sheet. That gives you a list of the people who are coming to those presentations. You can create a talking points group
Yeah, that's
and
what I do.
send out.
That's exactly what we do. We have a sign-in sheet, and based on the sign-in sheet, I share the presentation to the parents and I
And
send them
then
the
that
thank
way,
you
every
note.
month when you
Hmm.
or whenever you have another event, you can invite, say, thank you for coming to the last one. We're also
Hmm.
having another one. And then
Exactly.
with that sign-in sheet, you add more people to your group.
Exactly. Yes. So I have all the dates of the parent coffees already scheduled for the year. And then I have some half of the year, we have titles already, like topics that we're going to talk about. So then what I do is like, I'm looking forward to see you on this date. And then the topic is going to be so and forth. So with the thank you note that you open the conversation, sometimes the parents actually respond and then they're like, what is it about next month? And
Mhm.
you kind of like create that bond with the families. And I love that.
I think that it goes a long way. Again, back to recognizing family engagement. It goes a long way to thank people for
Hmm.
um, for taking time out of their day or their evening
Exactly.
to join. It's
Exactly.
not easy. People are busy. So
Hmm.
that
Exactly.
appreciation,
Yeah,
and the big part, I think, of Family Engagement Month is appreciating the engagement that families are already offering, right?
exactly. Yeah, I love it.
You know, Eva, you also made me think of something in terms of the theme of being grateful for families. I mean, obviously, thanking them on the regular and going that extra step is the the expression of gratitude. Um, I know one of the things that I did at when I was a liaison was around November. And it really could be tied into family engagement, although that wasn't necessarily the motivation, was to go into CIS and kind of identify families that had been new in the first half of the year and just make cold phone calls and say, hi, we know you're new. We wanted to welcome you to our school, and we're so grateful you're here. And many times sometimes I wouldn't reach people, and it was really done knowing whoever I reach, it's going to be great, and whoever I don't reach, it's fine too. If I can, I'll leave a message. We're not calling you for anything other to say we're so grateful that you're a part of our school community and welcome.
Yeah.
And then if they had questions, I would often have things to follow up on with or things to connect them to. But again, I would do it once a year at about November, just cold call folks who were new to the school. And but again, thinking under the thank you
Mhm.
umbrella, we're just grateful you're here.
I have many canvases. I have one for welcoming families, actually. I created one to welcome, so I have the communication with the SIA, and then she sends me for every child that actually registers into the school. I wait for a little bit because I'm not, I try to wait for like a little bit amount. And then I send them like a welcome card, with my information, and then I follow up with a phone call. So I let them know that I am going to be calling them. So I send my little card. Welcome to Belvedere community. We're looking forward. This is my name and la la la. And I will be following up with a phone call. And that's what I do with the new families every time. Mm-mm.
I got an
Oh,
idea.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Tiandra.
Oh, I was going to say, I can't remember who shared this with me. I think it was in the Justice Pyramid, that they always make a special effort to reach out to families who are having a first child going through school. Because if you've got an older sibling, or not you, if the kid has an older sibling, you've been through it already. But if you are a first time school parent, you really don't know what you don't know. And I thought that was a brilliant idea, making a special outreach to them.
I was going to say, to kind of piggyback on what Sandra was saying, I was speaking to a new liaison recently and mentioned that exactly what you do, reaching out to parents who maybe their families have missed the open house and back to school night and because they started after, but maybe everyone who's registered after, September 15th until November, calling those families just to see how's it going? How can how can we support you? And then doing, that's something that can be done every few months. And then maybe, the next time you do it, it's from like November to February. And then, because there are families, we live in a very transient community. Lots of people moving around either between schools or from outside of FCPS. So that's something that can be done year round. So yeah, great
Another
idea.
thing is that I forgot to mention, I don't want to take too much time, but another thing that I want to suggest to everybody is that sometimes we have the information about the child that is going to another school. What I do is I reach out to the family liaison in the other school. And then, so not only I talk to the mom and I tell her that, like we're so sorry to lose them as part of our community, but I also like introduce her to the new liaison and I create a connection right away.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I know that some of you also do that between schools as far as when students are going from elementary to middle school, kind of introducing your elementary school families to the liaison that they might meet at the middle school, and also the middle school liaisons introducing families to the high school liaison. So that's really helpful too. Helps them feel supported, helps to kind of keep those supports going in middle school and high school as well. Anyone else? Ideas and Fanny, go ahead.
Hey, Region 1, very busy person I am. I reach out to the restaurants for donations locally. I reach out to the mayor for donations. I reach out to everyone for donation. So right now we're busy with the test SOS. It's taking a lot from me that and everybody here emotional because you open wounds to the students. Maybe they was sitting there and now it's a lot of emotions around here. So I have a family engagement or I have a food distribution October 10. That was 86 families came from different school. It's a big line. I took some pictures far away. It's a sensitive time for me and here to take pictures of them. So October 12, I went to Think Cup organization. Then by 12 families from different school. So I decided to pick families from different school, not only from my school. So they got gifts. So this lady, Blanquita, she's from Clearview. She got a gift card for $500 food donation, the
Wow.
big one she brings. So I'm happy for her. So if somebody from Clearview is here, any party liaison, so she will win Mary $500.
And
Mary,
that is to
yours.
stock the pantry at her school?
No. This organization called Think Cup.
Okay.
So she's very good and she's called me and said, Fanny, I need 12 family. Doesn't matter what school it is. So I pick from different families in the school. So my new food distribution is going to be October 30, when all the family from different school, because I don't gonna tell a family, no, you don't belong to this school, you're not getting food. So food distribution is gonna be in October 30. So you're welcome to join also too. So my goal is for November to have at least 100 bags of food for Thanksgiving 1 week before I'm gonna do that game. So I'm so the snack for the week, this is different. The snack for the week, I'm so empowered the snacks of the week for the students. I will fire you for the snack. I will say, nope, they have to take the food today. That's it for the weekend. Not kidding, I'm not fight. So we extended for all the students in the school because they shut down for the military's family, for anybody. Any student need food, they can go get the snack of food for the weekend. So also I'm to be part of the for the veterans. I'm a family, my husband is a veteran, so I'm planning that. I want to do a big thing about that. Gonna be November 6th. So I'm really busy, I think so. And also I'm part of the organization Opportunity Neighborhood. So we go every kind of meeting in the town. Every kind of, so my face, people say, oh, everybody know me is funny. No, it's because I take my time to go different kind of meetings because I enjoy. I really enjoy the families, and that's the reason they know Miss Fanny around here. Little bit in her, a little bit. So last week I participated also. Look, I was being busy in the homecoming parade. So you can see on Facebook my picture with my makeup and everything. So everybody knows I'm really happy about my job. It's not only my job. Like I said before in the boundary meeting, I went to the boundary meeting and Tuesday, I say Herndon is our heart. So we taking care. In our families in this moment, they living a hard time. So I humble to them. So I will make sure, whatever I can help, I will help. So that's the only thing I can share with you. Thank you. That's a lot.
You have, yeah, you make a very great, I'm hearing all the, resources you're finding for families, and I think it's really important to point out too that, you know, while we're connecting families, we're helping families to eliminate those barriers that keep them from engaging with their students' success, right? That's objectively what we're doing. But sometimes the barrier is that they don't have food to put on the table, that they don't have a warm coat to have their kids stand at the bus stop in the morning. So those are barriers to their students' learning. So helping them to eliminate some of those barriers, all of that is part of the engagement. And we hope that as we're helping them overcome those barriers, they feel more inclined to engage with their students', educational success as well.
Because in middle school, I see the students, they're shy to get the backpack, to get the snack. They're very shy. So I say to them, really, I say aloud in the hallway when they pass through me to get the bus. I say, you're gonna help your parents with that food. You're gonna help your grandma. You're gonna take that food. I call your parents. I'm not gonna call, but really, I tell them, and they come back. Last week we have a really, really, like 64 kids. That was big for us. So I don't know how many kids we have it tomorrow. Like I say to admin, the government shut down. We're supposed to have it for every child. And here in the school, every student. We don't know how they doing, how to pay. I'm part of that too. My husband not getting paid. So, I know how people can be, we don't see, but it's out there. So I extended the food for everyone. Any child come,
Yeah.
and need it,
Funny,
I will
funny,
help.
you are talking about the weekend food, right? Yes?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
yes,
It's
we do.
different for us. It's different for
Yes.
us because the student come and pick whatever they need.
Yeah.
We don't make the bag
Yeah.
because sometimes they throw it out. So I say, no, pick whatever you need. Pick whatever you like. We
Yeah.
don't make the bag. We don't give it the bags.
I think in
Yeah.
some communities, and I know that this was the case in the Annandale community, and Sandra, you can correct me if I'm wrong, there's pockets of people that maybe have food restrictions for dietary or religious reasons, and so pre-packing the bags or the boxes sometimes is not really appropriate for those families. So um, either, like you said, letting them pick out their own items, or even providing gift cards so that they can buy the things that serve their family best. Is one of the best practices. I mean, is it as fun to give a gift card than to get like pack a food bag? It's maybe not as, it doesn't feel as rewarding, but we're really trying to meet them where they are. So if that's, what they like, that's
But
the
that's
best.
similar. Sorry, that's similar that we have here at South Lake. We have a huge pantry that the students, and today is the pantry actually in an hour. So the students can go to the pantry and they go with their bags, and they can go from 2:15 anytime until dismissal.
Mhm.
And they pick up, and they have fresh produce, they have deodorant, they have anything that they need. And today, actually, it's a better day because today, once a month, we have the um, women's give back, so they can also pick up clothes. So it's not just today is food and clothes. So today is an amazing day to be there. And in the afternoon is for the parents. So the community comes, and that's for the community in our pyramid. Just the only question is if they have kids in the pyramid and if they live in our boundaries. And we have for cars, and we have as from 4:30 to I think from 4 to 5 is the pantry, but at 4:30 starts the walking, so they can parents that they don't have cars and they can walk or come in a different way, they come here. And also many families they carpool, so it's a huge, but the students they go and they pick up anything that they need. And we do have fun snacks. So we have to tell the kids, you are not going to the pantry just for a couple of snacks. That you can go to the sub-schools or to the counselors or
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Sometimes the certain age groups need a reminder that snacks are not actually food.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other ideas of how you can highlight National Family Engagement Month in your schools? Beatriz, you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you. Well, I had a question, and also I would like to, because I've been I feel like I'm totally new in some aspects to the job, because I was like an 8 years hiatus, and I'm still knowing the community and seeing, sensing, and especially because it is so different from the previous school that I was. So this community is more, I don't know, it's different. But my question was to Fanny, how do you engage those partners to help you with those big needs for the families? I know that we have some partners here with a couple of churches and also a couple of all those organizations, but it has to be referred through our social worker. And also, I'm planning a technology night with the families, because I'm noticing that, yes, many families are not using Schoology. So that's going to be part of my engagement. I love technology and access. And also, here comes the bus, how they can use it, because I see that many of them, they don't know how to use it, and they are calling, I don't see anything this. I had trouble with this and that. So I'm planning one of those technology nights. And we have also the Veterans Recognized Day here, very beautiful for what I heard it's going to be. And the students make some nice cards for some veterans that are going to come and visit, that are part of the family, the school families. So if Fanny can tell me how you.
So I think some people know me and hear and heard them because I'm very active. After I'm finished school, I go into meetings. You can send the emails too. I send the email to the to the mayor, and after that he refer me. He said, "Okay, I will post it whatever your school need." So I received a check for almost $300 from the pizzeria.
Wonderful.
I said, "Oh, okay, this is for my family engagement." So they came in my name. So the person. So really, I make time for going to meetings in here where I know it's going to be meeting heard on high. I will be there. I made myself clear. I say, "Oh, I'm the party liaison." For me, it's working. Send an email to them. I say, "Oh, this is a family liaison from her." Right now, I'm planning to send her, for example, to Green Lizard. I know they always help the school from here. So I'm gonna go walk over there. I'm gonna introduce myself. And I say, "Oh, if you want to make any donation from our school, I'm here. I'm the family liaison." So for the church too, I introduce myself. I go personal there. Or I send an email and I said, "You're welcome to come to check our pantry. You're welcome to meet with me. So if you have a time, let me know what time you can come." Because sometimes you want to see the person face to face. Organization, you want to have a meeting like this with that person. Because they say, "Oh, we want to help your school. We don't know how." Or some people, I post also next door neighbor. Whatever I need, I put it there. And people sometimes they come in here and bring the kinds of food or something I tell them. So email me. They say this is my email address. Is any resources you can comment the idea, any resources you have it in your mind, just put in there, write them down, and they come out. They come out little by little. You will see how,
But
people will help you. People
do
want to
you need
help
some
the school.
some letter from the school? Because in the past, I know when
No,
I
not
was
gonna
in the
let it.
school, they
Everybody's busy.
require that.
Ah,
Yes, when I went to when I was a family liaison at Belvedere, and I tried to do that to make to go and get some. They always ask for a letter,
well,
either from the school or the PTA, because that's those were the only ways that they could somehow
There,
either
there are
give
some
you something.
businesses, there are some businesses that need that because they keep documentation of who they're helping in the community. It depends on the business but there's some
Okay.
organizations that like churches and stuff, they might not need a letter, but it depends. You might want to have a letter that, that's approved by your principal
Okay.
to
then
share, but there are lots of organizations that won't require.
our principals say if we can do it because we know we want to do outreach, we know we want to do family engagement, we short in money really. So for all that stuff we want to do, so she say, okay, Fanny, if you want to go there, guys, for some help, it's okay. But also, you can get together with the PTA. If they ask you for letter PTA, they will
Yes.
support you. That's what I did. That's what I did
Hmm.
for the pizza I wanted, and that was charging me too much money. And then I said, no, we don't have it. We don't have a budget right now. And then they sent me almost $300. So I said, okay, and that's it because the business wanna sell that and wanna know the teachers they can go buy over there. But no, if it's a check for maybe for $20,000, maybe they wanna know, they wanna get paid taxes. But after that, I think so they know really who I am for working. And whatever they give it, they go back to the community. I'm not gonna keep it nothing. And yeah, I will share everything here with the school too. All the resources, I get it. I was I will share it. But send an email directly, they really work. They work for me. I don't know for everybody, but they really been working for me.
Okay.
And I so
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Can
Thank you.
I want to, I know we have one hand up, but I wanted to share something that the liaisons in Region 3 worked on with me last year to create this document that I'm gonna, you should be able to share my screen. Um, and I'm happy to share this with all of you. Let me make it bigger. Um, there are some, community organizations that want to know, like, how can we help? Like, we want to help, we just don't know how. This is some suggestions of needs in the community that happen all year round, not just during Thanksgiving, not just during the holidays, not just during spring break, but year round. There are lots of other ways that they can help. And so some of the things that are on here are kind of those grocery store gift cards, warm coats, black leggings. The liaisons informed me about this. I didn't realize black leggings in every size. Every school can use black leggings. So I'm happy to share this with you guys. I'll share it with your FERS, and they can share with you. And you're welcome to use that if you want to share with your community partners as well.
I was going to add one thing to what Beatrice's question about donations and organizations needing things. I think very often if it's a large national
Sorry, Sandra, we
corporation.
cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, it's hard to hear her.
never mind. I don't know why.
No, you just sound very soft.
Oh,
Maybe just
okay.
yell.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I do think that in my experience, when you were hitting large corporations, they do have a very definitive process for asking for donations. So if you're hitting up Walmart, Target, even a Panera, lots of times things like that, they might have forms and a centrally dictated way of distributing donations. So in that case, it is a process, but I think that when it's something that's small and local or like a franchise, they have a lot more autonomy of how they do that. And really the biggest thing that they usually want is a tax ID number or tax-free, knowing your tax exemption status, which you should be able to get from your business office. And recognition, right? That you kept record of a donation that was given. So I do think, but I think that Fanny's approach of hitting things locally and again churches and things like that can be much more informal. But it is true if you're going to a lot of like organizations that are a part of a large national franchise, they do have a lengthier process. So that's might be why your experience is like, oh, they wouldn't do it without all of this documentation. It's because they have like online documentation processes that you have to go through.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Mhm.
So we have about 8 minutes left, and we have two hands up. Loris and then Liliana.
I have only one resource to share. It gives $500 gift card Costco. They have a form that you can fill out, and they give it just to any school. Once a year for the school, I try to share the PDF on the group, but it didn't allow me. Say PDF are not restricted, but I can send it to Sandra, the link, and Sandra can share it with everybody.
You can do that.
Thank you. Liliana?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for sharing the time with me and with everybody shared resource. My first, I try my workshop with the families. In this workshop, I give in different resources. I try working with different companies. The last company I working with the SAT program, explain what is the registration, what is the best way for the registration, what is the resource you have in SAT program. And the other one is possible you share with me, Sandra, what is the best way for found Walmart for or something for make the request for donations? For gift cards, because I need gift cards for my families. I had many families in here for emergency time. Was work families is really hard. And this
Yeah,
area is
I
really
and not to go into too much detail, but they do have their own application process if you're going directly through Walmart. So I would say that there's two ways you can do it. You can go directly through Walmart and online through their foundation, apply for it. The other option is if you have a partner like a church or something like that, is for them to purchase gift cards for your use. That is the fastest way to get access to that because Walmart itself, it does have an application process. Again, I sure I could Google and forward it to you, but I don't know it offhand.
okay. Thank you. Yes, I know. I had for example, with like working with Target. Target had one specific form. And for the church need a letter. It's true that the church or some companies need the letters, a specific letter for made but yes. Thank you everybody. I love you. Happy day.
Thank you, Liliana. And Sandra, thanks for that information because I'm sure that will be useful for everybody in the group. I just wanted to, we're coming upon the end of our time, but I wanted to go back to this slide that we shared of things that you can do. And while it doesn't say anything about resources and food and gift cards and that is part of your work, but remember the theme that Dr. Jackson really wants us to promote this year is being grateful for our families. So think about how we can show that gratitude to families because really what we would love is for families to also feel gratitude for the work that we're doing, right? So we will share the recording and the slides with everyone, as well as the calendar and the toolkit, the National Family Engagement Month toolkit. Again, the translations are coming for the calendar, hopefully soon, and we'll get those to you as well. Everything should be on the Family Liaison Forum by next Monday. We'll say next Monday. We're going to give Sandra a minute to process all of this. So please keep an eye out for the Family Liaison Forum to be updated with this information. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us. If you don't have
Thank you. It was very good.
Her team, if you have
Thank
anything
you,
that you wanted to add or no,
No,
we're good. All right. And we kept it under an
Thank you.
hour.
Cristianja, I love you.
Bye,
Yeah.
folks.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.